A dormitory at Bamsi burns. The hotel union says it will come out with all guns blazing if Malia resort workers vote to strike. Plus, the search is on for the next gospel singing sensation. We've got those stories and more coming up tonight. I'm Dana Smith, and NV12 starts right now. Top news tonight, fire officials in Andros last night battled a blaze that ripped through one of two dormitories at the Bahamas Agricultural and Marine Science Institution, reducing the building to nothing more than a charred shell. The fire was reportedly sparked sometime before 7 p.m. and began in the structure's roof. Our Kyle Joaquin visited the site today and filed this report.
I'm standing outside the male dormitory here at Bamsi, and as you can see, the building has been completely destroyed by fire. Now, officials have yet to determine the exact cause of the blaze, but they have launched a full investigation. After numerous issues, including contract workers not being paid and a delayed opening, the male dormitory of the Bahamas Agricultural and Marine Science Institute went up in flames last night. While police still aren't giving out much details on the incident, they're not ruling out the possibility of this being the work of an arsonist. A government delegation traveled to Andros today to assess the damage following the fire, which extensively damaged the unfinished building. Senior fire officials from New Providence flew to that island to begin their investigation into the blaze that started just after 6 p.m. It took them 4 hours to get those flames out. Fire Chief Superintendent Walter Evans gave details of what happened last night.
The investigation process is ongoing. We do not have a cause for this blaze as yet. And we are continuing our efforts to determine exactly what caused this blaze and the significant amount of damage. There's no building which is nearby that had received any damage by fire, so we're pleased in that respect. And we are doing everything in our power right now to ensure that we bring this matter to closure as quick as possible.
Evans said firefighters had to use garden hoses to put out the fire, but did the best they could with no fire resources available.
One can appreciate the fact that in some of our family islands, there are no fire resources available. And so that is the same in this area. And so what has happened was the officers, which is led by Superintendent Bruce Arnett, they've had to devise a strategy in terms of ensuring that the power supply was disconnected and ensuring that all persons who were in the area, they were placed at ready pretty much at a safe distance. And that was a strategy that they implemented last year, which was the proper strategy in a situation such as this.
Bamsi has been described by government officials as the legacy of Prime Minister Christie. And during his New Year's address, Christie even described Bamsi as a part of his government's plan to diversify the Bahamian economy in 2015. The government has already spent $23 million on the project. In a statement today, Deputy Prime Minister Brave Davis said while the tragic loss of this building to fire for some represents doom and gloom, for this government it provides the impetus to work all the more for the good of the Bahamian people. Whatever occasioned this loss, and I choose not to speculate, this fire represents an assault that extends to our collective pocket and absolutely offends our sensibility. End quote. Now, despite there being no confirmation that the fire was intentionally set, the residents of North Andros say they are heartbroken and hurt and strongly believe someone set the dorm on fire.
Today, when I came up here, I look at it and it looked like somebody died to me. All I want to do right now is cry. And it's very saddening to see what we was waiting on for a long, long time. And to God be the glory, great things He has done. I hope they find out who has done this.
This was to put us on the move, but it's not going to stop it. God is above all things, and it's going to be rebuilt. I know for sure.
I believe if they could find, and I'm talking from my heart, if they could find the one who do that work, their business to be in jail for a long, long time.
Now, as you can see, this building was still under construction, but Bamsi officials say this in no way will stop them from moving ahead. Dr. Rabina Hanna, the administrator for Bamsi, said the fire hasn't really affected operations.
It really hasn't, because our students and our school are actually in a different location, so we're okay in that regard. But it has, well, moving forward, It really wouldn't affect us that much because we can find alternative accommodations on the island. So it hasn't affected our teaching space as well as our farm area and the like. So our school and our school can continue, you know.
The students haven't been able to occupy the dorms as yet. They are currently staying in lodges not too far from Bamsi. The cost of the damage has not yet been determined. Now again, because the investigation is open, officials can't say just yet what exactly caused this blaze. Reporting from Bamsi in North Andros for NB12, I'm Kyle Joaquin.
Leaders of the Bahamas Hotel Catering and Allied Workers Union have threatened to come out with all guns blazing if the majority of members vote to strike. After months of tense negotiations in a gratuity dispute with the Melia Nassau Beach Resort, the union took a strike vote today at Workers' House in a bid to gain some leverage. Vani Toot reports.
To strike or not to strike? That was the question put to hundreds of hotel workers during a strike poll today as the Bahamas Hotel Catering and Allied Workers Union prepares to turn up the heat amid an ongoing gratuity dispute with Melia Nassau Beach Resort.
I would go out on a limb and say that we would get at least 95% of the persons who have cast vote here today to say yes. We will have to wait for the minister to give us a certificate. Once we have the certificate in our hands, all guns are come out blazing.
The hotel union intends to fight Bahamar's decision to remove an automatic 15% gratuity from the food and beverage bill of some hotel guests at Melia as it transitions into an all-inclusive resort. The first step was today's strike poll, which 371 workers were eligible to participate in. By noon today, 120 of them had already voted. Union President Nicole Martin says they will not take industrial action right away if the majority of members vote to strike, but they will take action.
We can't say everything. As long as we have a legal strike vote in hand, then you should anticipate that at some point something is going to happen. But I can't give away the secrets.
In December, Melia obtained an injunction that prevents the union or employees from taking industrial action. However, Wood says that injunction expired on Wednesday. The two sides engaged in negotiations for months, but Wood says the meetings have been fruitless. He accused officials of trying to hold their members hostage by withholding gratuity from employees until a new agreement can be reached.
Either we agree to what they want, or it's nothing. So what they've done is actually have hostage our people by withholding their pay. That is a form of slavery. If you take a man's money away from him, he's subject to whatever it is that you want to do.
Bahamar has said the customary 15% gratuity that is charged to regular guests cannot be charged to those staying on the all-inclusive plan, as those guests pay one daily rate. However, Martin says they will not agree to a rate that would cause employees to take home less money.
Changing the gratuity system is similar to giving the workers a decrease in pay. So instead of an increase, you're talking about a significant reduction in their take home. Gratuity earners have a base wage that is so low that if they don't make gratuities, they actually cannot afford to live a decent life.
The hotel union president says it appears as if there is open season on Bahamian workers, while government just sits idly by.
If the unions are not standing up for these workers, the government is silent. The government is non-existent except in the time of us casting our vote. Well, I would like to say to the government that if you do not look after the people will by no means look after you.
Polls opened at 8 a.m. and closed at 6 p.m. Union leaders say they plan to send a very strong message to hotel officials tonight. Reporting from Workers' House for NB12, I'm Vani Toot.
Prime Minister Perry Christie says he has no intention of engaging in a public spat with his new generation of leaders, telling reporters they should simply conform with the rules of the Progressive Liberal Party. His comments come days after PLP MP Greg Moss slammed two of the constitutional amendment bills. And as Christie awaits a report from the PLP's disciplinary committee, which reportedly recommended Fort Charlotte MP Dr. Andre Rollins be suspended for no less than 6 months. Christie says Rollins should have just told him how he felt.
all I wanted Andre to do too was to say, Prime Minister, this is my view. I don't believe in you, or I believe in you, or I don't support you in this, or, just say it. That's all I want. You conform with the requirements of an organization in a way. You're intelligent, you're educated, you're good looking. You've got everything going for you in public life. You're going to be there long after I'm gone, all right, in public life. I mean, hopefully that's your intention, all right? So it's just a question of being able to do things in a way that I think accords with party politics.
Rawlins has lashed out at Christie on several occasions, charging the country needs new leadership, and Christie merely used the new generation candidates as tokens to win the 2012 general election. Christie heads the party's leadership council, which will ultimately decide on the Rawlins matter.
If I have influence, I will use my influence. If I don't have influence, my influence will amount to anything. But there will be a result, okay? And that result will be final. Now, I don't want to, without the people making a report to me, to comment on it, other than to say, just look at my own life, my own history, right? And you determine philosophically how I think.
Police need your help locating a man wanted for murder and another wanted for bigamy. 26-year-old Patrick Thompson, aka Pitter of First Street, Coconut Grove, is wanted for questioning in reference to the murder of Lauren Roll. That murder occurred last year in Yellow Elder on November 24th. Thompson has a medium brown complexion and slim build, standing at about 5'7" to 5'10" tall. Police are also looking for 49-year-old Ricardo Thomas Lockhart of Abundant Life Road. He is wanted for questioning in reference to bigamy. Thompson has a medium brown complexion and slim build. Police are appealing to anyone with information on these suspects to contact them at 919 or Crime Stoppers at 328-TIPS. There's more news after the break, so stay with us.